We're good to go.
Ready, Paula? I'd like to call the meeting to order for July 28th, 2020. Please rise for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And all the minutes?
I have them here, but my copier is not looking.
Okay. And I will make a motion to pay our expenditures. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Yeah, let's do roll call before we do that motion.
Trustee Sheets.
Here.
Trustee Hunter.
Here.
Trustee Good. Here. I thought that's what you were going to ask me.
Okay. I will make a motion now to pay our expenditures. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Hunter.
Yes.
Trustee Good. Yes.
Okay. Following the agenda that I typed up and don't follow, we have no visitors, so we'll go on to our department reports. Deputy Carter.
Here.
That's good.
Good evening. This is for the last 2 weeks. Stats for Pleasant Township. Total calls of service is 178. We made 21 reports and 4 arrests made in the last 2 weeks. We had 3 burglaries or B&Es. One of them was on West London Groveport Road on the 14th of July. We had 2 of them on Harrisburg Pike. Both of those were on July 20th. We had 5 stolen vehicles. First one was on Stall Road on July 17th, one on Horry Road on July 18th. Had one on Darby Road, July 27th. One on West London Groveport Road. Actually, 2 of them, one on the 26th, one on the 27th. We had 2 recoveries of stolen vehicles. Both of those were also on Horry Road on July 18th and 19th, and I believe technically those were actually a civil issue instead of a stolen car, but they still listed it as such. We had 3 thefts on the 15th on Alki Road, the 19th on Darby, and one on West London Groveport Road on July 27th. We had 3 weapon-related runs. All of those were on London Groveport Road on different dates. July 15th, July 18th, July 25th. And that is all I have.
Did you hear about the vandals? Was there a report taken for Hickory Hills Golf Course?
So
Do you know?
I actually looked that up and I couldn't find it in our justice portal. So I've actually asked the crime analyst to try to pinpoint that report. So I'm kind of waiting for that one. I also did get the speed complaint. We talked about doing a speed trailer on Lambert Road after August 10th when I get back from vacation to get that set up, because right now it's actually the speed trailer that we have is being used right now in another township. So there was the burglaries on Harrisburg Pike, the high value dollar. I reached out to the detective. He's still trying to pinpoint any sort of video, because as of right now, there are no video tag or suspect information. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Any questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Before you leave, you did check into the semis on Lambert Road.
Well, so I did some spot checks out there myself.
Uh-huh.
And of course, spot checks, it's either going to be hit and miss. I did 3 of them, and honestly, I didn't get a single one. Not saying it doesn't happen, it's just the times that I went out there, they did.
Do you think the crime has increased?
Yes and no, and I know it sounds like a tricky answer. So with everything that's been going on downtown, that has pulled some deputies out from the normal patrols. And we also went on on majority of those days that happened downtown, we only went to priority runs. So we don't, with that, like I said, it's kind of a trick bag, is with priority runs, we basically don't self-initiate as much. We have to wait on the calls to come in before we respond. And that's basically because of staffing, because we were dealing with stuff downtown. So again, yes and no, but a lot of that is because of us not being more proactive as we normally are. So like I said, it's kind of one hand or the other.
Okay. All right. That answered my question. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, Robert?
Hello, everybody. First thing I have, cemetery wall at Oak Grove Cemetery. We started the smaller sections that were not replacing. We went ahead and tore them out ahead of time. They've leveled off dirt there for the time being. We were gonna try to start Monday, tearing out sections and getting it ready, because Tuesday, a man from Ready Rock Systems is going to come up. Well, he hasn't confirmed anything yet, but tentatively, he's going to come in Tuesday and watch us and give us hints and pointers on how we should do this. Hopefully we could I was trying to watch the weather. They're calling for thunderstorms, but just small chances after Monday. So hopefully we can move right along on that. We cut several ash trees in Village of Georgesville and one on Johnson Road. Removed those. Have had several ditch cleaning jobs and mainly equipment maintenance on a couple rainy days we had. Then last thing I have is we found out we can recoup our money from our indigent burial. And what I'm wanting to find out is if I can act as the township's agent to recoup that money, or try to.
Sure.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right.
I had Tavian fireman reach out wanting to get permission to go back in the cemeteries. His permission expired a while ago.
At Pennsylvania. Does he also get permission from Metro Clark's?
He calls them and the sheriff's office
Okay.
ahead of time to let him know that he's going to be there. I did want to stipulate that people who you don't have a signed waiver for definitely not go.
I agree with that.
So as long as they get back in and get signed waivers.
Does he usually stay back here all night long, or just so
He's
long?
usually out by midnight.
Okay. I think so.
It's okay with me, as long as he gets those slips signed.
Okay.
Do you have a copy of the slips?
I do not.
I think he provided them last time. I'd have to go through my stuff. I'm sure I still have copies of them. So
So
And you're probably right, if he goes around to different cemeteries, he probably does have.
yeah.
Anything else? Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Chief?
last 2 weeks, we're at 100 runs for July. Actually, that's increased now. We've had a couple since I take this up this afternoon, so it's been a busy few days. I think we've had like 15 or 20 runs in the last few days. So I have nothing to report for Pierce as of right now. Unfortunately, the information coming from them is very light at this point. We had fire apparatus in to look at a check engine light on Medic 2. They ran a diagnostic, found it was an issue with the DEF system in the exhaust. They did a regen, cleared the code, and so far so good. So I think that was whatever the issue was had to do with the regen. Either it didn't have a chance to get one done or hadn't been done in a while. So as we talked just briefly before the meeting, Southwestern City School District Fire Academy, as of right now, will be moving forward. I understand there were some changes to their schooling announced today, so that could affect it. I don't know at this point. We're hoping to do interviews with students on the 7th, and my understanding will be online instruction through Christmas break. So that's what I have about that project at this point. Hopefully no more in a few days, and I'll disseminate information as I get it through. The EMA has resumed surveys about PPE, so we're filling those out weekly now again with the uptick in our current cases. So I have a number of things on the agenda this evening. First, I'd ask the board for a resolution to remove the following members from the roster due to inactivity. Tim Gradell and Dustin Whitmire, they're both part-time firefighters. They haven't been active, so we would like to clean up our roster a little bit.
I'll make resolution 51.
I think it's 52 because we, the budget meeting.
Oh, okay. (52-72820) to remove Tim Jardell and Dustin Wiedmeyer due to inactivity. Do I have a second?
A second.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Hunter.
Yes.
Trustee Good.
Yes.
Next action, I would like the board, ask the board for resolution to hire Daniel Moore as a part-time firefighter EMT pending the alcohol and drug screen and driving abstract. Just as a side note, it is Lieutenant Moore's son. He's recently completed his firefighter 2 in EMTB, and he's looking to get into the fire service as a career.
I'll make resolution 53-72820 to hire Daniel Moore as part-time firefighter EMT pending his driver's abstract.
Drug screen.
And
Drug screen.
and his drug screening.
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Hunter.
Yes.
Trustee Good.
Next, I would ask the board for resolution to hire Cole Howard as a part-time firefighter EMT. He works at a number of local departments, and again, he's just a young kid trying to get in the fire service.
I'll make resolution 54-72820 to hire Cole Howard as a part-time firefighter EMT pending his drug screening and driver's abstract. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Hunter.
Yes.
Trustee Good.
Yes.
As you know, our recliners out in the TV room out there, they've been here longer than I have. I'm not sure exactly when they were purchased, but they're starting to have outlived their useful life. Some of them, most of them are in poor condition. They have some structural issues, fabric tears, that sort of thing. I would ask the board for a resolution to purchase 5 recliners from American Firehouse Furniture for a cost not to exceed $3,700. The new recliners are leather, makes them easy to disinfect and clean versus our current ones, which are actually a cloth fabric, so they're a little harder to disinfect. They hold odors and things like that. These have a 5-year warranty. This is the best we found. Comparable recliner or comparable cost recliner from a competitor was a 2-year warranty on structure and a 1-year warranty on the fabric. So that's a much different, significantly less warranty. They're heavy duty recliners specifically built for the fire service. And I looked up on just valuecity.com and looked up, and something comparable that isn't quite as heavy duty was about the same price. It was $5.99, $6.99 a piece. So we're looking at about the same price as what we would find locally here. I've obtained 3 different quotes. This is not the cheapest quote. It does offer the best warranty and size and everything that we need. So I would ask the board for a resolution to purchase 5 of those for $3,700.
I did look that up, and I think that equals out to like 740 a chair.
Yeah, they're
And,
$749 a chair. And then we get a 5% discount, and there was a small cost for shipping. I think shipping was like $130. So
But
it
I
was-
did
the
look
chairs
on-
were $35.55 after the discount and everything. And then I just factored in shipping, and just to make sure we had enough to cover $3,700. It won't exceed that.
I looked up chairs today too, just to compare, and that is a good price.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they were really competitively priced for being,
Yeah.
you know, when you put
For
fire
heavy
service on
duty.
anything, you know as well as I do.
That's why I looked it up.
I did my homework on it because that's what I thought too. I'm like, well, we can just go to Value City, but you know, I think we've seen what we have out there from Value City. And again, I don't know exactly when those were purchased. They were here when I got here, and you know, and I've been here, 4 years now. So
Even a heavy duty from Lazy Boy to get a better one.
and their
was about
warranty,
that
the
price.
Lazy Boy touts their lifetime warranty, but that's really not the case. I mean, they'll cover
Right.
parts, but shipping and delivery and labor is not covered. And you end up paying an arm and a leg just to repair a chair that. So, at any rate.
Okay with that? The chairs? I'll make resolution 55-72820 to purchase 5 recliners from American Firehouse Furniture for a cost not to exceed $3,700. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets?
Yes.
Trustee Hunter?
Yes.
Trustee Joe?
Yes.
And then the last agenda item I have for this evening, as we discussed previously, we are going to be having lieutenant retirement here within the next, I would say, 9 months to a year, maybe sooner. I would like to move forward with a promotional process to identify the person that will be promoted to replace that individual when he does decide to retire. That way we can use the time that we have left with him to some orientation and job task training and things like that. So I talked to the Ohio Fire Chiefs, Chief Wu, who's in charge of their kind of their oral boards and whatnot. I would like to post for the process for lieutenant using the Ohio Fire Chiefs Association for the oral board process at a cost of $3,100. Once the process is complete, an eligibility list will be created in preparation for the upcoming retirement. I would ask the board for a resolution to go ahead and move forward with that, please.
Any discussion on it? I'll make resolution 56-72820 to hire the Ohio Fire Chiefs to administer the oral boards to establish a list for promotions at a cost of no more than $3,100. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets?
Yes.
Trustee Hunter?
Yes.
Trustee Joe?
Yes.
And before we go on,
Yes, ma'am.
what about the Change Healthcare? You sent me an email.
Oh, I totally forgot. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes, I did. I'm
Yeah, you sent it right
woefully
after the last
unprepared to- yeah, let
meeting.
me- Is that on the agenda for tonight?
Yes, you sent it like the
Yes.
day after our last meeting,
did.
and I went ahead and put it on the agenda then, so I wouldn't forget.
Yes, and I totally forgot to put that on my stuff. Thank you for catching that. Basically what we need is, you basically need to authorize me to sign a document that updates for our current electronic remittance, ERA claim payment explanation in the HIPAA compliant files. So it allows for more electronic fund transfers rather than simple checks.
Is this something new or?
Yeah, so with the virus going around, people are doing things more electronically than they are by, paper checks and things like that, and that's what it has to do. By enrolling with MPX, this will allow Change Healthcare to receive our payments and the ERA, EOB information for other various multiple payers versus having to work with each payer individually. There's no extra cost software implementation required. This allows the elimination of manual process and gives us the opportunity to enable us to research ERAs and EOBs, all with using a secure online multi-payer portal and the ability to manage each payer's unique requirements for the right documents to be sent during any stage of the workflow, and reduces the need to call each payer for follow-up on lost paper attachments. In the end, MPX is designed to enable more efficient solutions and streamlined process.
So in simple English, is this the EMS billing?
Yes, so Change Healthcare is our EMS billing agent, so they handle all of our EMS billing, and they're basically what they're looking for is to be able to do things more electronically than via paper, but they have to have our signature on it because they can't make any changes to our contract without our signature, and that basically is what they're doing. They're not changing our contract as far as payment and things like that, but they're changing our contract to say they're going to do this more electronically than they are manually.
So they will electronically send a bill to somebody,
Yes.
or?
They'll be doing things, again, more electronically rather than reaching out by phone or reaching out by paper, that sort of thing. Also, we need to update our contact with them as well. We still have Lieutenant King on there, which something was oversighted when he retired. So I've talked to Jennifer numerous times, who's our rep, and she's never brought that to our attention until now.
So does this affect how we receive payments from them? Is it direct?
I don't think it's going to affect how we're receiving them. I think we're receiving a lot of our payments electronically. I don't know how many paper
We
checks we're
get
getting.
everything.
Yeah.
It shows up in the bank account. I don't, does
Okay.
anybody see anything?
Yeah, it goes to, so our payments go to a Dropbox. So it's either electronic or by mail, so it goes to a PO box, and then Change Healthcare deposits out into our account electronic, and we get it electronically. I think on their end, it's going to be more electronic, but again, it's language that's in our paperwork that they have to change, and because of HIPAA and those types of things, that they have to have permission to do that. So I'm glad you remembered that, because I totally forgot about it. Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll make resolution 57-72820 to authorize enrollment in NPX as recommended by Change Healthcare.
57.
56 was the high fire chiefs.
Oh,
Do I have a second?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll put it.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets?
yes.
Trustee Hunt?
Yes.
And then the last thing I'll need is a resolution appointing Lieutenant Ryan Will as our authorized official for Pleasant Township for all Change Healthcare items and removing Lieutenant David King.
I'll make resolution 58-72820, appointing Lieutenant Ryan Will as the authorized official for Pleasant Township for all Change Healthcare items and removing Lieutenant David King. Do I have a second?
Second that.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets?
Yes.
Trustee Hunt?
Yes.
Trustee Hill? Yes.
Again, thank you. I totally forgot. I sent it so long ago, I forgot to put it on the agenda.
That's why I went ahead and started my agenda a lot earlier than I
Yeah.
usually do. So I.
And I thought about
this.
that the other day too. Just a quick coronavirus update. Right now, there's 25,441 active cases in Ohio, 3,382 deaths. We remain at a level 3 here in Franklin County. There's a bunch of CARES Act webinars coming up. I'm going to be attending probably 3 or 4 of them that are coming up. So I'm trying to get as much information as I can about the CARES Act and what we can use the money for, and what we can't use the money for, and whatnot. And if it pleases the board, I have a short presentation and hold that till the end of the meeting so I can switch the computer around.
Okay.
Discuss something.
All right.
Thank you.
And that last paragraph, do you want to do that now? Or-
That's the. Wow. On the road.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll
I
move.
would also like.
We'll move on to old business. I have received an email from Swaco about the recycle carts. Did you get that? It's a demo from Mary. She said, please let me know if you will be attending next week's cart vendor demo for your community so I can order the box lunches. The demo will be held at Swaco's picnic area at 11:30 on August the 4th. She noted that the grant funding has been approved for C2 communities, $22.50 from Swaco and $15 from the recycling partnership, for a total of $37.50 per cart. Deployment will be in 2021. The decisions on cart vendors and numbers will be decided this year. That was thanks from Mary. And I guess we need to be thinking about how we pay what's left. I think per person, it would end up to be, was just, I don't even think it was,
Couple bucks, wasn't it?
yeah, if that much up. For maybe 1 year, it was only like $5, I think, something
Yeah, it was
ridiculous.
really, really small.
Which I was at the understanding that could be added to their bill till it was paid for.
I believe that's correct.
But that Josh from Local Waste that called me said no. And I told him that he should call Joe Durham and talk to him and not me.
Good idea.
Okay, so did you want to go to that lunch?
Yeah.
I'll RSVP for him. Send it to her tonight or in the morning. Did you want to go? I figured you'd be. Okay. I set alarms on my phone because I can't remember anything. And then did you all see the email that I forwarded on to you about the Stark County litigation? I was going to print off the invoice. I just saw it today. It's 144 pages. Do you know anything about it?
Just,
You got a check signed for that.
I went ahead and made a check.
Mhm.
I still want to go back and check to see what we for sure have already paid. Because it seems like I remember something that we had had a bill, it may have been from the other
Yeah.
attorney where they used that Ricker and Eckler law firm, and then they subtracted something else. I need to go back and look at some of this.
I asked her to explain each one. I guess on the 144 pages, each one is all spelled out.
Did you get a response to your question about how to get out of this?
No, she
Oh,
did
I
not.
didn't think
She
so.
did not answer that part. She said, thank you and have a nice day. Stay healthy. So I'll forward that to you.
Okay.
So the amount was, that's about the
I
card.
think it was
If you want that.
whatever in your email that amount to her, that's what I made it.
Okay.
3588.
For,
From Mazanek, Resnick, and Ryder Company. The attorneys for that.
Yeah, that's the law. Firm. We're locking it.
3,588.
Sure.
I just picked it out of her letter, her email to you.
She sent the original invoice, which was a letter, attention to me here, on September 30th, 2019. I don't recall, it's been a long time, hard to recall, but this total balance due was $4,840.87.
But then didn't I subtract something out for Eckler? And it reduced it to like 3,000 something.
No. That's why. That was the last page of the 144 pages.
Oh, well, maybe they've added something. Now, we did pay something to them earlier in the year, but it wasn't very much.
I'll forward that email to you. I just got it and looked at it real quick right before I came.
We need to get out of this, that's all I can tell you. There's no place to tell on this.
And I asked how to get out of this and end it now, and you asked.
Do you want me to reach out to Mark Stem? I know it's been a while and
Yeah.
see if can we pay our dues and be done?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure, like I said, a year ago, we said we're ready to settle and
maybe we could do our settlement. and subtract this from it,
Yeah.
get that conversation with him.
I can make a copy of that
Sure.
so I can have the name.
I can email it to you.
Well, there's
Okay.
two different
Too.
law firms.
And if you tell them that we want it, we're willing to settle and get out of this a year or two, maybe that'll carry a little weight, I don't know.
Is there any way you could tell me how much, like, and obviously I know not right now, Paula, but at some point in the next week, how much we've spent in legal fees on this matter? Because it would be all attorneys except Pete, right?
This
It's the two different law firms. It's Stone's company and then this Lafayette's.
Yeah, if you can look that up, that would be great. I'd like to know how much we've
Do you want
spent.
this, Paula, or do you want to just wait and I'll
Yeah,
email you the whole thing?
Yeah, you can go ahead and.
You can take that if you want it. And have it.
Okay. Yeah, I would.
Yeah. So we can total it up and have it total and see.
Yes,
I think that's a good review.
Yeah.
We're done.
enough's enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If the legal, the settlement, I
We
just
were
hear what
real
we were
close
gonna
to-
owe.
Right.
We were just waiting on a figure from them to settle this a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, I think they even sent one at one point, and we were like, okay, we can look at that, and then they said, oh, we think we can get it lower.
Yeah. Right.
And
That's exactly what
At
happened.
that point, when do you decide that the legal fees are taking over the savings?
Mhm. And it just pops up and so much time is in between. It's difficult to keep track of, do I really owe this?
Right. Great.
And it makes you wonder, is that why they're dragging it out? Okay, we will move on to any new business?
Yes, I had a lady complain about two properties on Lucan's Road. And I spoke with Paul Eager, left a voicemail for him this afternoon to see what he could do. There was complaining of junk cars, excessive amount of junk cars. The other one was unkept, the other property was unkept. Cars, boats, brush growing up around the vehicles.
Okay. We'll move on to Paula.
Okay, we received notice that, we were going to receive from the House Bill 481, that COVID money, $194,922.23. I'd like permission from the board to set up a separate fund for that, and then also, the bills that we've been paying, once we realize, what we can reimburse ourselves for, I'll have to take, like, say if it's something that's charged to the fire department, reverse it out of the fire department, and I'll have to set up a separate set of appropriations over there so we can track all that money. And I just need permission to set up that fund for that and then to amend the appropriations once I realize what they want.
So it's a fund for,
That COVID money. Just so it can be tracked and everything.
A resolution.
I'll make resolution 59-7/28/20 to allow Paula to set up a fund for the COVID money.
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Hunter.
Yes.
Yes.
And then, and I think it had her name on the email, but it was, where they were sending us copies of, bids from, one from Rumpke and one from Local Waste, and I printed that out. It's pretty thick, but, if I can, once I get my copier, I'm gonna call the guys tomorrow and see if he can come out and get that copier going, and we'll copy these to you. I didn't know if you had printed it off or not.
I have not.
Okay, I will get that for you. Let's see. And then, just in the mail, that I have is, from worker comp. We've received quite a bit of, copies of information on an injured worker. There's one, I think there was a conference or a hearing by phone today, and then there's, 2 different ones scheduled, I think, for the Thursday on that. And there was a couple other papers that came in on him. Received some information from Berman Flowers, basically updating our contacts on their deferred comp, their second quarter report, the OTARMA 2019 annual report. Lots of emails from worker comp on the COVID situation. Information on from small MS4 permit draft renewal released, where EPA is going to take comments until September 1st, if anybody's interested in that. The county auditor's office sent out notice just for Know Your Home Value campaign launches ahead of the triennial update. Some various information from WorkC on the virus. Department of Commerce advisory statement on manufactured housing regulation. Couple flyers, newsletters from deferred comp. And the rest are just kind of flyers and stuff. And I was contacted by the state auditor's office. It's time for them to do their audit again. So I will be looking at what I let you know. And I have no idea when and if they will try coming into the building at this point. But as soon as I hear something, I'll let you know. That's pretty much everything. I think.
Seems like we just got done with the last one.
I know it.
2 years.
2 years. Wow.
I bet it seems like it.
Well, they do it every 2 years, but then it drags out.
Yeah.
Into the following year.
Yeah.
So they started every 2 years. But yeah.
Did you forward an email to me from Courtney at Burnham Flowers about a welfare benefits plan? I didn't quite understand it.
I
and
had-
There was no
Well,
attachment.
for some reason, I have trouble getting some of my, I don't know what format they send the attachments in, because a lot of times I can't open them. I honestly don't know what she's talking about either. We've never done anything like that before, so
I don't know what it is.
it
either.
says if it's even something that would pertain to us, which I would think them being in the insurance business, they would know if it pertained to us or not.
Right.
More so than us, but she just said to let her know that it may and it may not. It was,
If you just forwarded her email to me, I don't think she had an attachment on it.
so that could have been too.
She said she had an attachment,
Yeah,
but there
I didn't see
wasn't
it
none
either.
there.
Yeah,
And I looked 2 or 3 times for it to see if I was missing it.
It just says, after a recent review of your plan records, it's been noted that we do not have a plan document on file for your welfare benefits plan. And as your third-party administrator, they're committed to helping us maintain a plan to be in compliance, and they'll do it free of charge. I said if it doesn't pertain to us, and that's what I'm saying, I would think they would be the ones to determine if it pertains to us or not.
I was wondering if it was like one of those where you get points to, like if you,
We already have that, the wellness.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I think that's
Oh.
something different.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
yeah. Okay. All right. Do we have anything else? Chief, do you want to do your presentation?
Pop this up here.
Actually,
And-
I have something else,
Okay.
if you don't mind, real quick. So, real quick, and I'm sitting here texting the detective to get clarification. We received word last night about 9 o'clock that on West London Groveport Road, a 13-year-old male was attempted to be abducted. So at first it was unclear if it was a domestic situation, but no, it was just a straight up someone trying to kidnap a kid. So just keep an eye out on a gold Toyota, newer model. Because they can't figure out any sort of connection between the victim and the suspects. And they were two male blacks in the mid-20s to early 30s.
Toyota car, truck.
Toyota car, four-door, golden color. And I actually went looking for it earlier today just because it was unclear whether or not it was an abduction or a domestic. But so just keep your eyes open.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And I believe you don't have to stay if you, I think, is everybody okay with?
All right, guys, have a great night.
Thank you.
I know that
Thank you. Good night.
you need to go get your kids.
Have a good one.
All right.
Have a good vacation.
Thank you.
Putting that out there.
Somebody got it in here so tight, I can't get my, there it goes. No. Whoever put this in here last, screwed this thing down so darn tight. Tried to use it on
Come
the,
back through things.
my plug, but I couldn't. This is just an oddly good.
And this came from,
All right.
and so that, not the board I'm on, but it was in 2000. You might have to look at that.
Yeah.
I don't need that back.
My one.
It shows maps and everything of what they were supposed to do.
There it is. Okay. All right. So what I want to talk to you guys about tonight was some software. Thank you.
Cool.
Just a quick proposal on our current software. If you need to take a minute and move around the other side of the table, that's fine. So, the idea behind this is I want to streamline our software. Currently, we're using at least 3 different software platforms for our needs here at the fire department. I found a program. We can streamline all that into one program and do everything out of one. It's going to save us time. It's going to save us energy, training, lots of different things. So we're going to be able to increase our efficiency, have better data collection, and we're going to be able to make better decisions based on the information that we're getting out of this. So I'm going to talk about our current products, what we're using. Like I said, we're using 3 different softwares for our needs. Talk about the new product. A little bit of cost comparison. The new product is a little bit more expensive than the current products we're using, but again, I think some of the savings we've had over the last year or two, different things will offset that. Obviously, my recommendation, and if you have any questions. So currently, we're using, like I said, 3 different products. For EMS, we're using what's called emergency networking or InCharge. So that's our locally sourced product. It's a local vendor. We pay monthly for that product. Some of the advantages I think it has, it's a local company, which is always a good thing. They're fairly responsive to issues. If we need them, we can call them, and they're usually right on top of it. And it is very easy to use. The guys do like the EMS program we have. Some of the disadvantages, again, small companies, so they're not, they're not always up on all of the current issues and things like that. And then data retrieval has been an issue with them. It's very difficult to get data out of the back end. So, as I said, the cost, it varies month to month. Our 2-year average for them for the last 24 months was $3,158.75 a year. So it fluctuates up and down depending on how many runs. It's basically billed per run. And then there's a cost on there for some of the technology it's built. So our fire software is emergency reporting. So we do our NIFRS reports, which is the fire report we have to send in. We do all our fire inspections, all our occupancy. It's all basically the stuff around here at the station. So our truck checks are in there. All of our inventory is in there. All that sort of stuff that we do here. Our daily logs built into that system. Our trainings in that system. So we use that for most everything else. We have hydrants in there, maintenance is in there, all that stuff we do on a daily basis. It is easy to use. Most of the data that I give you every month comes from that software. So the problem I have with it is while I get great data out of it, the reports it generates are generally 1 page. So if I wanted to give you all the data that I give you, you get a book every month about 15, 20 pages thick instead of 4 or 5 pages that I give you with all the charts and graphs. So I have to kind of go back in and create all that. A little bit time consuming. I'm kind of duplicating my efforts. So its cost is just a shade under $3,000 a year at $29.88. So we're not paying a ton of money for this software, but like I said, it's both good and bad. And then the last one is what I call our human resources software. So that's the fire manager or lad tech. We do our payroll. All of our forms are in there. So time off forms, all of those sorts of things. All of our time off is tracked in there, and our calendar is kept in there. So everything that goes on around the station, we put in there. So if the guys have fire inspection or we have tours coming through or those sorts of things. We don't have a lot of those at the moment, but when we have those, that kind of stuff is in there. So we do payroll scheduling, time off, time requests, all of our forms, truck checks, maintenance, messaging, training requests, all of those things are lumped into that software. The nice thing about fire managers, it's mobile. So I have it on my phone, I have it on my iPad. I can look at it anywhere I want. I can see who's on duty, who's scheduled for the day. All of that stuff is right there at my fingertips. The disadvantage, I think, is over the last few years, I went back and looked, our cost has been increasing with this program every year. And we don't get any data out of it. So any of those forms that we have built in there, we've had to go in and create. So it's kind of like, if anybody's familiar with FileMaker Pro or anything like that, but we basically took all the forms that we used to have on paper, created a form in Fire Manager, and I don't get much data out of that. So I can't go in and look up certain things. When I do a payroll report, I have to go in and manually print everybody's payroll. I can't click one button and it all spits out. It takes me between 3 and 4 hours to do payroll, which would be nice if it didn't. So, and like I said, our costs have been going up. I think in 2019 we paid just over $3,300 for it. Last year we paid $3,501 for it. So, well, this year we just paid that bill in March. So
every year we're paying.
Yes,
Well, that one is for 2 years, isn't it?
that's a 2-year average of what we paid, because that is billed monthly, so it changes every month. So this month we might, depending on how many EMS
So
runs.
that's an average per year then, that
Yes,
2,000?
that's an average over the last 2 years each month. So I took 24 months of payment and averaged it out.
Okay.
So this month, if we take 100 runs, it's $3.50 a run. It might be $350. So that's kind of why I did it that way, just to kind of give an average. So that's basically what we're doing now. So multiple platforms, duplication of effort. So we just hired 2 people tonight. Tomorrow I've got to go in 3 different programs and add their names, add their information, add all their demographics. All got to go in 3 different places. Then I got to add them to the email. I got to add them to other things. You know, I've got to send their paperwork in. I got to get their paperwork copied and called. There's a lot, and we're duplicating our effort. It'd be great if I could just go in one program, add all their information, or better yet, scan their information and it would go right into the system.
So could the road department use the
They
payroll part
don't.
of it?
No, I don't think he,
No.
I think he does manually, does payroll.
But is it possible?
For them to use Fire Manager, good. I could set them up that way. Right now, we're using Fire Manager. I'd have to add them to the Fire Manager. He'd
I
have to
don't
learn
mean
how-
right now.
Right.
With a new program.
I'd have to look into that one. I don't know the answer if multiple departments can do on that, because I've never asked that question, so I'd have to find that out. So like I said, we're duplicating our efforts. We're also duplicating reports. So the guys go out on an EMS run, they're filling out an EMS report for the patient care report. The lieutenant's back here doing a NIFRS report. So we're kind of duplicating our efforts. A single source program would allow an EMS report to be generated and a fire report to be generated at the same time. So, and again, we have to train all the new personnel have to be trained on 3 different programs. We have to learn 3 different programs, and it's duplicating our efforts quite a bit. So what I'm proposing is we move towards a company called ESO software. It's a single source product. It's going to eliminate all our duplication of efforts. It's going to create data for fire, EMS, human resources in one single spot, so we can do everything in one place. All of that will be lumped into one place. Right now, if I need look up somebody's fire training, I go to one place, and EMS training is another place, that sort of thing. So it'll all be in one area. We'll be able to train our personnel on one platform. So here's how you do an EMS report. Here's how you do a fire report. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. Here's your time off request. We won't have it. ESO is becoming the industry standard. So right now, just the departments we work with the most, they're all using it. Jackson, Prairie, Scioto, Jefferson, all using this program, which I'll touch why that's important later. I believe Columbus Fire is using it now. They're becoming the industry standard for.
So the training here probably wouldn't be that involved either.
Right.
Full-timers are part-time there, or part-timers are full-time.
Yes, and that's one thing. They quoted us training costs, but those costs may not actually. There will be some costs for training, but the numbers that I'm presenting to you are what they're proposing, and what I really need may be less. And again, we haven't put that into exact. I'm still working with Joe a little bit. The great thing about this is there's some data sharing potential, and I'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute. But we can share data between the departments, and for example, we go on a lot of runs with Jackson. Their engine 201 shows up on an EMS run. They start a report. We show up. We bring our iPad in or our device in. They can send what report they've already started right to our system. We can't do that now. So again, duplication of efforts. We're writing a whole nother report. They're writing a whole report. So it would be great if we were able to share that data back and forth. There's also what's called health data exchange. The hospitals are starting to work on this, where they're dumping information back to us. We're dumping to them. They're dumping back to us. Becoming a two-way street instead of the one-way street it's been for years. Becoming a two-way street. So we'll get information back about patients. When we go to a patient we've taken before, there may be more information in their file because that stuff's going back and forth now. So that health data exchange isn't quite up and running yet, but it's coming. And it's all based on the community paramedicine concept. We don't do that, but the data will be there. So that'll be a nice, again, duplication of efforts. We're entering information one time. You know, whether it's me having to go back and enter these two guys 3 times tomorrow, or whether it's the guys on the street entering data once, and then the lieutenant doesn't have to do another report here at the station. I talked about the health data exchange. Our neighboring departments are currently using it. Again, the engine starts a report, so we go on a run, our medic's tied up, we start a report, we can dump it right to Jackson or Scioto or Jefferson or Prairie. So there's probably others. I don't know what Tri-County's using, but they may be using the same thing. So I haven't really talked much about the new CAD, but Grove City is purchasing a new CAD for their use. We're going to be taking advantage of that. So in April of 2021, next year, that will go live and we'll be on a brand new CAD. I've been talking to IT about this, process. Joe and I have been working on this for a couple months now. But having that interface for them just one time, it saves them a lot. Now, I know we're not all about saving everybody else time and money, but I mean, they're one of our partners in this, so it would be nice to be able to save them a little bit of extra work too, where they don't have to create a CAD interface to talk to our EMS report and our fire report. They create one CAD interface and we're all talking together. So, that's a nice little advantage. So, IT's familiar with this program. When Joe's been building Prairies, Joe's building Jefferson's right now. Rob from Grove City IT has worked on Jackson's. So they're familiar with this program. They can assist us in little issues that we would have with it. We're having to call some company in Seattle, Washington, or wherever they're at and wait on them to call us back, and we're stuck. We can call them and say, hey, we got this problem. Oh, I took care of that last week for Chief Scott at the Prairie. I can fix it right now for you. So there would definitely be some advantages there. The one thing that the departments, they couldn't provide me real numbers. The one thing they did talk about is when they switched over from whatever platform they were on before to their new platform, they did see an uptick in EMS billing. I talked to Jennifer, our Change Healthcare rep, and she didn't want to talk numbers. She didn't want to put a percentage to it. She didn't want to, say anything like that. She did say that because of their relationship with ESO and the information that when we set up our program and that they get back, the coding will change, or it'll be easier coded for them, and we could see an uptick in EMS billing revenue, which would be good for us. As you know, our billings reportedly be down, but we'll see what happens towards the end of the year. But it would be nice if we could get even if we saw an extra $150, $200, $300. I mean, every little bit counts. So, but she did say that many of their customers will see an uptick in EMS billing because of the change, and it's just because of their relationship and the bridge that's built between the reporting system and Change Healthcare. So again, data going back and forth. Good data, good product, bad data, bad product. So again, training, our personnel will only learn a single platform. It'll save us time, effort, that sort of thing. So everybody wants to know how much it costs. It is a little bit more expensive than what we're paying now. So the fire bundle is $2,145, and they broke this down by bundle. So it includes inspections, incidents, properties. It's got the daily log in it. It's got the training in it. It's got all that good stuff in there that we need. And then the personnel management is $2,095, and that includes that's where the training and the personnel files and all that stuff come in. So that's the fire side. The EHR, which is the EMS report, is $3,290. Now this is all based on runs. So I estimate how many runs we've taken, and that's how they base their pricing. So it's $3,290, and then there's a cardiac monitor integration. So the nice thing about this software right now, guys go out on a run, they use a cardiac monitor, which has modems and Bluetooth and all this cool technology in it. And then they have to write it all in the EMS report. This program will talk to our heart monitor back and forth, and all of that data that the heart monitor gathers, the rhythm strip, the vitals, SPO2s, all of those things will dump right into the report.
So they won't
they
have
won't
to
have to do that.
staple the strip on there?
They won't have to do any of that anymore. So that is a nice option, and it's actually, we have that option with our current EMS software provider, but it's pretty expensive. It's like $100 a month. This is, $800 for the year, so it's a little bit cheaper. The fax part of it, so we can fax ERs and whatnot, is $113. So they gave us the billing interface is a $395 cost. They gave us, they basically took that cost off for us. And then the CAD integration is $14.95, so that'll integrate it into the CAD. So these are recurring costs for us. And then down the road, I want to add asset management, which is truck checks, inventory, all of those things that we do every day with respect to that. So all of our inventory will be in there, all of our truck checks, all of that will be done on this program. It's $2,095 a year, and then scheduling, and that would include the scheduling and payroll and all of that stuff is $1,795. So our annual recurring cost would be $13,823. It is a little bit more expensive.
That's with everything on there.
That's with everything on
The
it.
asset manager.
Yep.
Inventory.
Now, if we don't get everything, we still got to pay the other companies to keep what we have. So it's kind of, I don't want to say it's an all or nothing, but it's either an all, or we still are paying $3,000 a year or whatever for a lab tech, that sort of thing. So it is about $4,500 more expensive than what we're paying now, but that's the whole shebang. One-time costs. So this is the initial setup. So when we sign a contract with them, they'll bill us for another $6,700 for data imports. You'll have fire code. So basically, when we go out and do a fire inspection, fire code will be built into the system for us. They charge to do that because they have to enter it and whatnot. And then setup and training, and again, these costs are there, but I'm not sure how much of that we'll actually use. I don't know if I need 2 sessions of training. If I don't, that's going to cut that cost down. I just left it alone to say, this is what it's going to cost. Get it approved at that. And if I need it, great. If not, we'll see, we'll spend that money. EMS, the same thing. The data import, they're giving us, discount on both of those. So they're not charging us to do a data import. And then 4 sessions of training. Again, 23, I don't know that we'll need 4 sessions, because like you said, we have a number of people on our department that's already using this program, so they're already familiar. They don't need training. I might be able to do 1 session.
This training is basically the majority of the cost?
Yes. Yeah. Training's the setup's going to cost some, but the training, as far as I know, it's all equal out. So 4 sessions of training. If we only use 1 session, we're going to save. I don't want to say a quarter of that, but because I don't know what to set up. They just lump it set up and training. So if the training's $500 a session, we'll save $1,500. So same thing with asset management and inventory, in training and implementation, and then scheduling the same way. They're all kind of, they have that setup and then training. Again, not sure we'll need 2 sessions of training to train our people on how to use this.
And our IT is doing the training.
No. This is their cost. This will be, online, virtual, or in-person training. The company will do, ESO will do for us. So, and what Joe was talking today, so on their fire side, we had all those modules. So for inspections, we would get a block of time that would be dedicated just to inspections. And whoever's in charge of our fire inspections would have one-on-one time with that person to go over how to set that module up, how to run that module, how to do everything on it. They become the expert on it, and they can train future people. So we won't have to only pay for training once. Basically, what it's done. Same thing with EMS. Lieutenant Will, our EMS officer, will get an in-depth training on how to use the program, how to set the program up, how to train people on the program, and then he can train anybody that would know. But again, with everybody else using these programs, there's not going to be a lot of ongoing training needed, as most of our people train. So I think these costs will come down. That's what he quoted. I put it in here. If it's my recommendation, we use this product that money could be saved. So, but I would like it there just to be safe. So again, the total investment for this year and next year, and again, I'll show you the timeline later, but this is going to be a phase in. It's not going to be, I'm spending $20,000 tomorrow. It's going to be, you're authorizing me to spend the $20,000 on the program and the one-time costs, and it'll be spent over a period of time as we implement things. So when we implement the fire program, we implement the EMS program, those costs will be started. When we get down the road a little ways, and I'll show you the timeline here in a minute, to the scheduling part, those costs will be started then. So that's kind of how this works. So it's not going to be we're spending $20,000 tomorrow. It's going to be, we're spending $20,000 over the next 9 months. So I think it's a great investment for us. So here's my timeline. So the EHR, the EMS program, and the fire program, we're going to do data entry. So our start date will be August. We'd be doing data entry. We'd be doing setup, getting all those things taken care of, building the bridges that need to be built, all of those things that need to happen. Training would happen October, and my projected go live date is November 1. So we would transition from our current products to that. Our contract with In Charge, our EMS software is month to month, so we can basically just tell them 30 days, cancel it. And then our fire product is a first of the year payment. So I'll be able to tell them, by September that we're not going to continue with them. All that data will be moved over and will appear in the ESO product. And they'll basically go. The asset management portion, we're going to start that data in September. Joe told me that takes some time to build. So we'll be working on that one for a while. Training in potentially November, maybe push back a little bit. And then go live January 1. And mainly because a lot of that's tied into the emergency reporting product that would be cut off in January 1. I do have a backup contingency if we need it. So if we would go beyond that January 1, we can come back to using the fire manager product for truck checks and some of the other things. We do use that for years, and that's our backup plan. So if we would, go beyond that January 1 date, I have a plan. And then scheduling would be the last thing we would put into place, and it's last only because we've got that till March of next year, the lab tech program. So again, November, December was when we would start. January, February do the training, and then March 1st go live. All the former products will be gone, on one single platform for our software needs. I think it would make life a lot easier with respect to everything we do. We're so attached to computers.
The medic runs are under EHR.
So that's emergency health report, I think is what they call it. We call it PCR. That's just their product name for it. Everybody's got their little niche in the market. It's a marketing tool. So I think they're trying to transition from more of, like I said, with that health data exchange going back and forth. I think they're trying to, make us more, we're not turning in a run report to a nurse anymore. We're actually, our stuff is becoming part of that patient's record. Their family physicians are seeing it. Because everybody's electronic now. Last time you go to the doctor's office, they pull everything up on a computer. All your charting's in there, everything's there. That will, if you're transported by Pleasant Township Fire Department, that run report will be part of your record. And your family doctor will see it. The CAT scan tech will see it. Everybody that touches your healthcare record will see it. So, and we'll get information back, which is great tool. So again, this is a little bit more expensive. It's about half again as much as what we're paying now. But the opportunities we have to share data, to streamline our operations, to basically make our lives a little bit easier around here. It's going to save my guys some time, some effort. Again, we're duplicating and in some cases triplicating our efforts. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then again, with the IT, they'll be able to assist with setup and diagnosing issues and help us fix things. Whereas now, I'm calling emergency reporting and they might call me back today. They might call me back tomorrow. They might call me back when I'm not here. And then I got to call them back. And I'm playing phone tag for 3 days. It's just not a great way to do things. So you guys have any questions?
ask my questions along the way.
I'm not asking you guys to approve this tonight. I just wanted to present it to you, kind of get you some time to chew on it. I might ask for it at the next meeting. That way we can get started and moving forward. But I mean, if this is something you guys are I would ask it to something be something you seriously consider. I think it would, again, it would streamline operations here a little bit, streamline our ability to, you know, put data in, and I could give you, I give you pretty good data now, I think. I've never heard any complaints anyway. It would just become much more streamlined, and you might get some more information that you're looking for. So that's all I got.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Everybody's gonna see themselves on TV. Hopefully this is still working. This is what it looks like, so you know. And we had several people tonight, so we had 4 of us, 4 people plus me. So.
Does it say who's for?
So I don't know who the call-in user is. You've got Hannah Poling, who's our newspaper rep, Lori Wade, Mike Philbin. I don't know who either of those two are, but.
And if they want to ask something, how do they?
So
do
they
that?
can get my attention. They couldn't obviously while I had that on, but they could get my attention, and then I can unmute them. So if I wanted to allow them to talk, I could. It would just basically I would click on.
I guess we should ask if anybody has anything. Make yourself known.
Yeah, there's a way they can raise their hand, I think. Never had anybody do it yet. I checked with Hannah, she could hear everything. So.
No one's typed any
Nothing that I
text to us or
see.
anything?
That's just Hannah and I's back and forth about I want to make sure she could hear.
Mm-hmm.
So she was able to hear everything. So.
All right. Do we have anything else? Okay. Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
A second.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets?
Yes.
Christina?
Yes.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned at 8:15.
Now.
Could have let you go when Travis.
I have a
Everybody's
question
still
for
on.
Paul anyhow.